Currently Miami Swim Week, and with that, a lot of people have been asking me like, Jared, after Swim Week or even before, previously to Swim Week, like what's the best agency to sign with in Miami? I'm gonna give my honest opinion on each and every one of them because it's also not just my opinion, but it's the feedback that I hear about them from models actually signed with them. When I first moved to Miami, I know it's intimidating. Like you're signing a contract and it's like you only hear the bad stories about like this agency or this agent trying to take advantage of you and trying to rip you off and get money from you and scam you. Like I can promise you right now, it's not like that. So the first agency that I'm gonna mention is gonna be the Source Models. Why? Because I'm actually signed with them, Source Models, so maybe I'm biased. Quick story, like when I went into Source Models for the first time, like, you know, it's a little intimidating. Not like I was scared, but like I know I'm new to Miami, new to the market, but you know, just being personable and just being honest with them. After the conversation, they literally were like, yeah, we want to offer you a contract. I was like stunned, like I could not believe it. That was the first thing where I was like, damn, making this move was actually worth it. Like I moved here to get signed and I got signed, like now I got to book a job. But like, you know, it was like the first real like step of progress. And they've been great. They booked me on so many jobs. Outside of myself, the reason why I say that they're great is that they're very selective on who they actually sign and who they bring in. Because like you don't want to be signed to an agency where a bunch of people look like you. Why? Because the likelihood of you booking that job is very low. Source Models, they're very selective. And if you are selected by them, it's because you have a specific look or something that you bring to the table that is unique to them. The next agency that I'm going to talk about is going to be Next Models. I would arguably say Next Models is the biggest modeling agency in Miami. They've been here the longest, they're the most established. Next Models is not only a well-established name in Miami, across the entire world. These motherfuckers are established. You know what I mean? Like if you're a Next Model, New York, LA, literally anywhere in the United States, like you got some respect to your name. And I would definitely say that in Miami, they are the biggest. Side story, when I actually moved to Miami, because I actually didn't know who Source Models was, I went and reached out to Next Models and I actually spoke with them first. So I actually have a lot of respect for Next Models because of their director, Ron. Ron just told me straight up like, hey, you have a good look. I think you can work in Miami, but we're currently only signing people that have already worked in Miami or have like a working portfolio because like coming from Boston, it's not that steep. You know what I mean? Like it's not comparable to Miami. And I respect it. Again, this is something that you can't take personal. He literally said like, you know, do what you got to do, put in the work, you know, do test shoots, come back to us and like we can kind of reevaluate from there. But in the meantime, reach out to these other agencies. The Source Models was one of them. So literally it was because of Ron, who was the director of Next Models, that I technically got signed with Source Models, like in theory. So I have a lot of respect for Next Models, and everyone who is signed with Next loves them. They get a lot of bookings, they get a lot of clients, they get flown around the country. And I know these people personally. Source Models and Next Models, I would say, arguably say, are the top two in Miami. So the next agency I'm going to talk about is going to be Select Models. Select Models is, again, a very well-established modeling agency. I hear good things about them. I know people that work with them a lot. There was like a period, I feel like internally, they had some things kind of happen, but that was a while ago. Seems like now things have like kind of moved over, things have gone pretty well. I would say that it does seem like they have a pretty big roster. So if you're gonna sign with Select, you know, kind of make sure that it's the best fit for you. All of my boys that you guys have met before, Noah, Trey, Donald actually was signed with them. Donald is actually now with Next Models, but Trey and Noah are still with Select Models. I know a bunch of other people with Select as well. You know, they say good things, but at the end of the day, like when you get signed, you want to work. So hopefully, you know, that's the case for you. The next agency is actually a pretty big one. It's going to be Wilhelmina Models. Wilhelmina is up there. Like Wilhelmina Models is definitely up there. You should definitely reach out to them. I know a few guys, I want to say like 5 guys that are signed with Wilhelmina. They get good paydays, they get good jobs, they get good campaign jobs. Wilhelmina Models, I would highly recommend. And that's the thing, like with all of these agencies, I want to add in that it's not like, oh, I'm signed with Wilhelmina, so I only work with these brands. It's not like, that does happen sometimes, but for the most part, we're all getting submitted to the same jobs and they'll take different models from different agencies. So you're meeting a lot of these people at different jobs. Like I've been on set with Wilhelmina Models, Select Models, Next Models, Source Models, and the rest of the agencies I'm gonna mention. So again, reach out to all of these agencies. Wilhelmina would highly recommend. Next agency up is Ford Models. Ford Models, I honestly don't know a lot of guys who are signed with them. Ford Models is definitely better for women. Like Ford Models, if you're a woman, I would highly recommend looking into them. I would definitely say in New York, they're probably the biggest. And that's another key point. All of these agencies in New York, in Miami, LA, they all have different markets, right? Ford Models is probably way better in New York than it is here in Miami. I don't necessarily know. I'm not talking bad on any of these agencies. I want to make that clear. But just their name, their reputation amongst, you know, the models that I know, I guess you could say my peers in some sense, but Ford models for women have only heard great things. They get like runway, big campaign, editorial shoots. And when you get those, you get a bigger payday. So next one we have up is going to be Elite Models, kind of same thing as Ford. I don't know that many guys that are signed with Elite Models. Damn near all of the models that I meet from Elite are women. I would definitely say their clientele is primarily for women. So if you're a woman watching this video, check out Elite, well established, never hear anything bad about them. So again, as long as they're booking you and they're, communicating well, should be a green light. The next agency is gonna be CGM Models. Now, this is actually a pretty big agency, I guess, to talk about. It's because CGM Models is primarily for women, but they do promote that they get a lot of bookings for guys. Now, again, this is what I've heard. I'm not with CGM. I don't know. Primarily, 95% of their stuff that I hear is for women. So if you reach out to them, they might say, yeah, we'll sign you, we'll this, we'll that. But that doesn't mean that you're gonna work. So it's really important to make it clear, like, hey, who are the clients that you work with? Because I wanna know, like, I'm speaking from a guy's perspective, like if this is gonna work out for me. At the end of the day, if they sign you, it's because they do think that they can get you jobs. But, thinking and knowing, you are kind of taking a risk. But again, well-established, good reputation, but I would definitely say it is primarily for women. This is the last one that has a big name, was gonna be Front Management. Now, I made it clear, I don't wanna say anything bad about agencies. I don't want this to be negative at all, but I'm gonna be transparent with y'all because that's what I do, that's what I'm here. When I met with Source Models and they offered me the contract, why I also really like Source is that they were like, hey, go see all these other agencies that you have, visits with, and then if you want to sign with us, that's cool. That's a green flag, right? So Front Management was one of these agencies. I went and I met with the agents, and it was just like kind of a weird vibe when I was talking with them, because when they offered me a contract, but they were like, hey, mind you, I'm coming from Boston where I was already signed and I was already working, right? I already had retainer clients. I had been signed there for like 2 years already. Like I had already had a little reputation and clientele list like from Boston. And they were like, hey, we're gonna offer you a contract, but we wanna represent you in all the East Coast. So you're gonna drop your Boston agency. And I was like, what? I'm new to the game, but that shit don't make sense. I was like, you want me to drop an agency that's already booked me, already gotten me jobs, pays me quick, takes less of an agency fee, and you want me to drop them in the hopes and dreams that you're gonna get me jobs here in Miami or all of the East Coast? I was like, no. It felt like a control gimmick. And I was like, yeah, no, like this isn't gonna work. Thank you for the opportunity, but like I'm not dropping my agency. So it's little things like that I feel like a lot of people will fall into, because agencies might say like, hey, we're a bigger market, we can get you bigger jobs, we'll get you more jobs. No, they might just want to control you and then quite literally control all of your income. That's something you have to be careful with, and that's something that I felt like I may have experienced with Front if I did decide to sign with them. Thank God I didn't. This was a while ago. I don't know if they have new agents. I don't know if they had a revamp of the agency, but overall, that was my experience with them. And I'm gonna be honest and I'm gonna share it. So take it for what it's worth. So those are the top modeling agencies in Miami. I'll say it again, modeling is a huge bonus. And if something that you are interested in and you want to pursue, go after it, do it. I can't say enough, like it is probably one of the best decisions that I made in my life. That's the reason why I'm here in Miami. This is the reason why, I live in the city now, and I've gotten a lot of great opportunities from it. If you watch this video and you do want to get signed, not even in Miami, maybe any major market, New York, LA, Miami, Atlanta, wherever, make sure you check out the video on screen right now on the steps that you should take on how to actually get signed and increase your chances of getting that modeling contract. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and y'all know the deal. Till next time, I'll catch y'all later.